Alright, so I have finally, sorry for the wet hair, I took a shower. So I have finally started to work on the animation portion and just trying to like learn the software. So it gave you like a bunch of like really basic things. There's a whole lot you could do, but there are certain functions I don't really need. Like the drawing portion, which you can draw in the system, which is fine. But it's just like I have my own characters, like I don't need to use that. Um, but it was just nice, like, kind of going through some of the things and just, like, learning different points. I was taking notes as well, just, like, shortened versions versus what they give. Like, I have the actual full instructions saved, but I made my own just for a quick reference if I need something or I'm like, oh, how do I do this? I can look really quick. So, I will show you really quick just the little doodads I made. But I want to use this because I want to make actual animations, and I'm like, AI does not. I was gonna use it because it was gonna be like super quick, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know what I want to do, but AI I don't think has that function to where it'll take your actual characters and animate them for you. I think it has to make them from scratch or something. As far as I know, I have no idea, which kind of sucks. So I'm like, okay, we'll do it the old-fashioned way. I know it's gonna take me a while, but I'm just gonna have to try and just do a little bit at a time until I get better, because I also want to make like intros for my videos, which I know what I want to do. And I think I've already discovered a way to do a portion of it, which I actually discovered it on accident, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect for what I need. So I just have to kind of work with it and get it where I actually need it to be at, like completed. But I think I figured out how I can do a portion of it, so that makes me really happy without the system telling me. Like, I just did it, and I'm like, oh, the oh moment. So I'll show you really quick what I was kind of just doing for a little bit, and then I'll show you the characters that I already have kind of uploaded that I want to practice animating with. Just a couple different things, literally just to kind of try to get a hang of it a little bit and just like learn some stuff, because there's so many things that I want to do. The other problem is that because of the way it is, I would have to draw everything. Because the background portion I can draw, just like leave the background as it is depending on what's going on, but then add in the little elements to kind of like change it if need be and just do all this kind of stuff. So it's gonna be a lot for me to learn because I don't know really anything about animation. It's not what I went to school for. I never really learned it. So this is me literally learning how to do animation. So luckily they have like instructions and tutorials and all that stuff, but for what I want to do, it's going to take me a while because it's going to be a little bit complicated. So, but luckily they have like, they kind of like have very simple ways and then like other ways that you can do like really complicated animations. So obviously I'll have to learn like what's best for me and then maybe expand outwards. So we'll see, but I'm super excited. I'll just have to I'm thinking about making these like weekend projects because of when I get home from work, because I work from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. It is not as fun as it sounds. So, and that gives me, when I come home after eating and such, maybe about 3-ish, 2.5 hours or 3 hours before I go back to sleep to do things. So I'm like, oh, that could work if I can focus enough. It could be good for me to kind of start learning some things. So I'll show you what I did really quick, and then I'll show you my little characters, and then we'll move on. At least, well, for you, it'll be a second. For me, it'll be a day or two. But then we'll move on to, like, me starting to try and figure out how to do animation. So this is the first thing that they have you do. So it's just like a little circle. So it's just, like, kind of pulls it up and twists it. And then it does that. So that's actually super cool. So super easy. It's actually super easy to do that, so I'm like, okay, that function's probably going to get used a lot to move things. The next one, okay, this one's going to be a little bit freaky, I know. So you learn how to squish him, you move the clouds across, and then you can actually kind of change the shape of the clouds a little bit. And then this ball's already here, but it was more like moving the ball and then making it bigger. So that's all that was. He is freaky, I don't like him at all. This one is you're just learning how to, they call it bones. This is Moho animation is what I'm using. So it's just the bone function, so you can kind of move it and just do different things with it and such. So it just makes it easier for the animation part, especially depending on where you actually start down here in the frames. So I learned that. I don't know what this is and I don't like it. But this is what you learn how to do, is the little, whatever these are, these things, you just kind of like learn how to make them go faster, or like they're more springy. That's why they're all kind of moving in different directions and they're kind of just crazy and whatnot. So you learn that. And then this one is you learn how to, so I'm going to figure this out if I want to do it this way, but they've already, like, all these things I just showed you minus the first one, they already had it created. You're just kind of finishing it and just like practicing. But he was, so like layers over here, he's already separated in the layers to kind of do what you have to here. So you have to put the, oh, that's why he looks funny. Whoops. So you have to kind of like break him apart to put the bones properly, so that way they're not meshing with one another, and then connecting the bones to the correct like spinal bone, because there's two of them here. One for the torso, so like the upper, then you get one for the lower. But then you also have to put these in like in a proper order, so that way, and then you can move them and all that stuff. I don't know, maybe if I can grab the right thing, that'd be lovely. So it's just kind of fun, and then yeah, depending on what torso you grab. So, and then I think what I'm gonna have to do is, obviously I can move him, but there's this nope. Alright, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Oh, I have to go to bone. Yeah. So nope. I don't know what I'm doing. We're gonna have to figure it out. What did I just do? Oh, nothing. Okay, we're fine. Freaked me out for a second because I thought I did something that I really should not have. Anyway, but you can like move them. It has to be that, but it's not. I don't know. But you can like, so I would have to kind of take each point and animate it essentially. Oh, I'm already screwing myself. Oh no. That's not good. So, because obviously I can move him, but when it comes down to here, I have to do it a certain way. So it's like, you kind of have to move, and then like one thing at a time to make it look like they're actually doing something. And then you can actually take the background and kind of scroll it along, so like they're walking and the background's moving. So there's a lot of things I gotta learn. But like I said, I'm pretty excited. I just know it's gonna take me a bit. So I'll just have to kind of figure it out, and I can always just go back and reference their tutorials and kind of just like learn that. I'm just pulling up the pictures that that I want to animate, just so they're all a little bit different, just to kind of get a feel for them and like just try and figure it out. So that's why I'm like, it's gonna take me a while, because I know animation takes a bit, but I'm hoping this will make it slightly easier, especially once I can figure out how I want to do it. I can figure this out. But so first I want to do Arlathea, and biggest reason is just kind of like learning how to talk essentially, because there is a function you can add an audio file in here and you can actually make them talk. So again, I have to figure that part out, because the file that they gave you I did not get, so I'm like, okay, that's a problem, but whatever. So, but I can make her talk, possibly, and then move like ear movement, quill movement, that kind of thing, maybe like a little bit of hand movement. So I just want to try some stuff out. So then I have a Chibi Arlith here, again, for his wing flaps, the tail movement, closing. So I can do a couple different movements. So then I have Kanan here. Again, he's like full body, and he's just like regular drawing, so I can kind of play around with him. And then I have a Chibi Kanan to do the same thing, of just playing around. So I just want to try a couple things and just kind of see what happens, because I am curious to see what I can do. But I'm kind of looking forward to it. I just know it's gonna be a lot, so that's why I'm like, I'll just have to like practice with it. and just kind of try and figure it out. So that's why I might try and make these, keyword try to make them weekend projects. So that way I'm not spending a whole lot of time because there's so many other things I'm trying to do right now. But so I can still get some practice in throughout the week. And it's still like in a timely manner, so I'm not wasting like all day doing it and I'm not getting anything else done, but just a couple of hours a week. So like, 4 to 5 hours I suppose every week is fine, and then probably eventually I'll have something good. So, but I might try my word thing first. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I might try it though and just kind of play around with it because I kind of want to see, because if I can get it exactly where I need it to be, it's going to be so much easier and it's going to be so much fun. We're going to cross our fingers, but I'm going to start blabbing so I can get on with other things. Well, animation things for this video, because I am doing other things while I'm also doing this. So, because I'm recording multiple things, so. But, yeah, so in a second for you, we'll be animating again. Alright, so I've been working a little bit on the animation stuff. I need a lot of practice. I think I'll show you what I did. It's not going to be a whole lot. I'm just kind of playing around with it a little bit. I have notes, so I'm kind of going off the notes, but I'm going to have to do this a very certain way, which is going to be a lot more work on my part until I can get used to it. It's going to be a struggle bus, so I think I'm going to start off really simple, and then I'll work my way up as I can figure things out. Because I think what I'm doing, what the problem is because I'm not drawing in the system, because the thing's kind of weird to me. And I'm also not like really a digital artist. So since I have my drawings there and they're all connected, I think it's just causing me problems. So I think I'm going to have it where I have to break up the character and then insert each individual part of the character to manipulate and everything, because that way certain parts will stay where I need them to and like all this stuff. So it's going to require a lot more than what I thought. So I'm going to have to draw just a very simple, probably the Chibi's character, so I can kind of practice with it and learn until I can get better. Because the other option is take a character I have, which I probably will end up doing, but I think I might start with the Chibi broken up to get some practice. And then I will take a character I've already drawn, cut it up so it's into each individual parts. Obviously there's going to be white space like where I cut out the legs and the body and stuff. Reconnect it, and then I'll have to animate the individual parts, but at least they won't be touching. So, which I think will be better for me, but you can laugh at these. It's completely fine because I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my gosh. But I think that's what I'm going to have to do, because when it was giving you practice, like you could download files for practice. Obviously they're all digitally animated, like digital already. They're all broken up into individual parts to kind of make it easier. Or it's just like they're not connected the way that mine are. Like there's enough space in between like each individual object where they're not going to mess with each other. Like for one example, they have like a fluff ball with legs attached and like feet. So because it's like the head's up here and the legs are so long and skinny that they don't interact like the way that my stuff overlaps. I think that's part of my problem. So this is going to take a little bit more than what I was hoping, but that's okay. That's part of the learning process while I figure this out. Because now that I know that, I can work on stuff, right? I can try that next time and just start making really simple characters. But again, I'll just start off with having one of them, like just draw a random one with parts not attached to it to kind of get used to it. And then I'll cut up one of them and upload it that way. But here's kind of what I did. So this is going to be funny. Do you see what I mean? Because I have, these are bones is what that's called. I'm using Moho animation. I saw it and I was like, oh, that's actually super cool. I saw a video on it. So each of these here are called a bone. So that's why I put them on certain parts, was to kind of manipulate it. But again, because I think it's connected right here, it's not helping, and that's why it looks really janky. Again, I'm also just playing around with it, trying to get used to it, remembering what each individual item is. So, but I bought this tablet and this system for this reason, but now I've got to do a little more than I thought. So I guess I'll start working on the next character for this and just do something random so that way I can add this. But so there's that. This one's Arlith, the last one was Kanan, so this will probably be one of the characters I would cut up and manipulate, because you can see I have different options. I have his mouth, so I have his ear, so I can do a couple things, and along with his wings, that's what the biggest thing was I was trying to do, like wing flap. The other problem though is like eye animation, because obviously to cover it, they gotta blink, so that's the other problem I'm having. But I guess I can do a separate like eyelid over here, and then maybe I can attach it or something. But here's what this looks like. So you can see there's not much movement. Again, I was trying to flap the wings, but obviously I need them curled over. So I don't know if I need to also have an asset where I guess it's like brought over, like covered. So when it's up here, I can pull it down. I might have to end up doing that. And I also want to move the tail some more. So there's a little movement. So it's like I'm getting it, but I think it's because they're all connected and not 2D and digital. I think that's part of my problem. But I'll figure it out. But there's that. So again, because like I also want to like close his mouth and all this stuff. So we'll have to play around with that. So this one's Arlethea. So I was trying to like do the mouth closing and then move the hands and the ears, but again, not very successful. So that's all I managed, was this weird movement. So at least the ear kind of moves, but I was kind of wanting to come down and everything. So she's kind of going eek, I suppose. So again, not very successful, but it's kind of how you learn, right? You got to play around with things and decide what's best. But there's that. So here's the last one. So this is also like actually one of the bigger reasons why I even did this in the first place, was I want to start making like intros for my videos, and I know what I want to do, but I have to practice. So again, this is not working exactly, but I kind of have it. So I got to figure out exactly how I'm doing this. So it's because what I want to do is I want to make a dragon tail. So I got to make that whole thing now too. But I want to have my Arlethea name up top, so that's my business name, right? I want to have the tail come back, flick it, and I want it to turn into like whatever the series would be. So for example, I have Riders back here, but again, so I kind of have it, right? Because what I'm thinking, let me stop this, is that the background would be black, okay? So obviously the words could be black. I might have to do very simple words, I think. So this kind of works. Just change the word color to like a green or something. Well, actually I can't. Oh, what am I gonna do? Ooh, that might be a problem. But, because I would have to get this covered, right? Or else you'll see it. Again, I don't know. I'm also wondering if maybe I can do this individually and I can cut it. So this is what this would be on its own. Right, so obviously this is backwards. So this would be first and then flip it to that. So again, I'd have to figure that out, which I kind of have an idea for. Okay, this is the writer's portion. So again, somewhat kind of how I'm wanting it flipped, right? So it actually kind of works that way. So that's why I'm like struggle busting. That's why I'm kind of getting an idea of what I want to do, but it's still a struggle. So what I'm also thinking is I need to, one, just practice animating a very simple character of my own drawing that I can cut up and work on. And that way I can move the parts to learn. And then the next thing would just be trying to figure out how to do the letters. Because if I can nail down how I want them to flip, I think it will be fine. Because then obviously the harder part is going to be the tail. But with the easier character, if I can learn the little animation parts, I can probably learn how to do the tail too. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So I really got to figure that part out. But so now I would have to make the tail and then the simple character, and then I can come back and like try and practice a little bit more. So that's why I'm like, I kind of have an idea. I feel like of all the little projects I just did, the letters one is probably the one that turned out the best, because it was the closest to what I was wanting, obviously. But that's why I'm wondering if, well, I can't do that. I mean, technically I could, because if I can get the tail in here and like combine the layers, which I might be able to do, because I gotta do it's possible. I could combine the layers, which I think would help, because then I can cut it to where the Arlethea stops when it's smushed and then pops back out to the writers. I think that also might help me on here. Like when I go into like edit videos, I think I can do that myself. It's just a matter of just getting it to this point because I can't do it on here. Well, technically I can, but I would need the tail animated. Do I just animate the tail then and just edit it out? That might be another option. Is I can animate the thing because the text will flip. I can get it to flip, so I can have writers get it to flip, stop, and then flip back to the writer. Like so, it'll be Alethea, flip, and then writers. So I can do that. It's just a matter of getting the tail animated, so I can. And then I would have to put the tail in between Alethea and writers to get it to flip. So I can do that, but I would have to at least animate the tail, I think is what I would have to do, because I want the whole background filled out, which I can probably bring over and do it myself. Okay, this just got a lot more complicated. But I can still practice with this, so I can still do the word thing. I think it'll be just a good skill to kind of have for the future. But the biggest thing now, I guess, would be trying to figure out how to animate the tail. Get the tail animated, bring it over, figure out how to do the word flip on the editing software. And then the character. I think will probably be the next little projects I do. So I think I'm going to do that. So now that I've come to that revelation, I'm just going to end this video because I don't really know what I'm doing. Again, we're just going to practice and just do what I can because I have not created a single true animation yet, which is really, really bad. It's kind of why I got this stuff and I just haven't gotten around to it. But I think I'll just focus on those two little projects and then eventually work on doing bigger ones. But I think once I can break up the character, I'll have to try to, if breaking up the character works versus, and just doing it that way, if that works out well, I might have to just stick with that. But I'll try that and then just cutting up the character and then adding it back in to cover up the white parts, I think. And I'll see which one's better. I think is what I'm doing. But for that, I'm just going to end this video here so I can do other things. So I got to make a note on that so I know what I'm doing for next time. But with that, I'm going to end it here. So thanks for exploring this little thing with me. I don't even know what we're doing. But stay tuned for more animation stuff because I'll work on it throughout as much as I can and when. And then we'll see what I can create. Because that would be cool. If I could get at least one animation done, I'll accept that. Because it's not my forte. I don't really know what I'm doing. We're just learning as we go. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.